have evolved, so I've got lots to share about that in the upcoming months. But we're going to kick this one off. And as any boardroom, and listen, we all like to have a plan, we are going to change to still build awareness, but maybe even shift a little bit about how we do it, how to build that know, like, and trust, which that is not a new phrase to us. But we sometimes forget that each season we need to focus on that a little bit more. Marketing in a relative way, we know that's changing. Time for profit, time for update, how to get more eyes on us, market strategy, color branding, visuals, and social press. So, woo, get ready. We're going to try and always keep these under an hour.
Now, because fonts, like everything else, like haircuts and whatever it may be, and the way we wear our jeans, they change with time. So if you're like saying, I have no idea what to do in fonts, think about what your audience, your market, what they would read, where they would shop. So if they're Architectural Digest, then go in and look at what is the logo that Architectural Digest is using. What is the logo that Better Homes and Gardens is using? So look at those kind of fonts, and then even like where you might shop at. So fonts are, it's a subtle thing, but it really does make a difference whether you look old or new, up to date.
And speaking of that, here are the top ones right now. So what I found very interesting, one thing you can do, like Railway and Arial have been around so long. They're those tried and true. And I used to, in the very beginning, think, what font can I pick that I could type an email in that very the cleanest font? Because then I got really, really down that consistent lane and that branding lane. So what I do love about these is they are contrasting. You might have a very script, you might have a very fluid, and then you have a little bit more to the point. But like with these, still very different movement in the fonts. One is definitely bolder. One definitely has that serif feel, but just for you to see how the DSA has evolved, even that have kickstarted us. And we do need a little kick sometimes. And that's why I love having a peer group, that we work together and we might say, gosh, it's time to do that. Or have you thought about that? So sometimes Canva is a great way to kickstart your ideas and try new things. JoAnne, you are really a big proponent of the shelter and industry magazines. Tell everybody what you think about those.
Well, I just think it's important for you to be reading what A, your customers are reading, and B, what your competitors are reading. So your customers expect you to know whatever magazine that feeds your, hits your model, what is House Beautiful saying should be the trends this year. What are and that overflows into what people are watching on TV. They want you to have a knowledge of that because that's how they gain it. Industry magazines are going to help you to know what's coming, and they're all available online, or you can still buy the hold it in your hands version. In Canva, I think we need to say to that, we all think of Canva as being a graphic design program. It is so much more than that. If you've not delved into Canva's apps and the things that you can do with the project that you've created through one of the apps that Canva has, then you're missing out. So take the time to look at some of those apps, and I think we'll see one of them in motion here in a little bit.
Exactly. And Answer the Public, I will admit, this is Answer the Public in Midjourney. I am still learning. JoAnne's perfected that more. But those are great ways to also keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. And what I love about Midjourney, because we're all very conscious about, if we're doing a webinar or teaching a course, we use photos that give examples. The beauty with Midjourney is you have created a photo that is perfect for whatever your subject could be, and then you don't have to worry about did I give credit where credit was due kind of thing.
Right, copyright infringement.
Mhm.
And the key is, of course, if you use any mid-journey photos to demonstrate something, you make sure that you're honest about that. Like Sandra and I will always say, you know, these photos are a compilation of our own stock magazines, our students, and AI, because we have that at our fingertips now.
Okay, and let's just recognize our best and free assistant that we have all come and embraced, the AI assistant that we've had. And if you haven't, there's a free version and then there's a paid version. We just tell you to try it. And again, it does need to, anything you do needs to feel and sound and look like something that, you know, that you have curated for yourself. So I thought I'd give you a little example. And again, give as much information as you can. So write Sandra Racz website copy that highlights in-depth consultation geared to blah, blah, a client. I'm not going to read you everything. But I said, receive a detailed questionnaire, ebook, and Sherwin-Williams paint deck during their home or projects and easy reference. So that
So
being,
Sandra, excuse me, let's just make sure everyone knows, because I may not, this would be what would be called a prompt. So your prompts are what are going to really control the effectiveness of what you get from AI, whether it's Chat, Claude, or one of the many others that are out there. So perfecting your prompts is critical. And Sandra could also have added to that, you know, in the voice of Sandra Racz, as seen on my website, the Decorating and Staging Academy, and it's going to go in and read her website and see her tone of voice and give information in that way. And of course, we all know you're never going to use it exactly as it spits back, but this can narrow it right down, or you can say, you write it in the tone of Joanna Gaines, or write it in the tone of Toby Firely, or whoever you want. So it's amazing how deep you can get with it.
That spit out for me. And it was website linked, but it would need some photos and stuff. But I got this very, very detailed response. So then I might say condense it. I might, like JoAnne said, write it in a more casual tone or Sandra's tone. But we always try and make it our own, even if Chad has started it. But I mean, it's better writing than I can do, especially when we're trying to do 6 things at one time. So,
And Sandra then could have taken the same thing and reloaded it in there, copy and pasted it, or said, you know, I like what you did, but I would like to see it in less words, eliminate all the clutter. And when you tell it to eliminate all the clutter, then it's going to take out those words that don't need to be used. So you can really refine what you are doing. It is an amazing tool. Awesome. We
I
all
would,
have our own assistant anymore. You don't have to pay for, although I do use the paid version because it gives me more options. But you know, what a wonderful tool for us to have now.
it is. And JoAnne, refresh my memory. I want to say the paid tool is like $19. It's not a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I think it's
right.
$19. It's really inexpensive.
So here's that reference JoAnne was making to blogs. I mean, to prompts. I'm sorry, the prompts. So in updating your awareness campaign, it's always good to just, if you put a date on their calendar to go and look at it and to decide when you're going to review what you've been doing. I will admit, I just got so overwhelmed with, okay, I'm writing the blog. What am I doing with the blog? I had to draw myself a diagram. Okay, I'm going to try and do 2 blogs a month. Although people say 4, I'm not doing 4. To your own self, be true. Then I'm sending it to my website. And I have the sizes right here of the photo that goes with it, because I was wasting time going back and forth to say, what size does that photo that needs to be with the blog? So I literally did this diagram. In fact, you're welcome to this also if you want it. Here's some of our themes for our post, where they're going to be put, who's doing this.
Just came out with their 2024 trends. What are people talking about? What are they searching for? So prompt that you might use is say, based on Pinterest, and have the link in there, latest report on trends. Give me 10 blog titles based on that, because, you know, making those blog titles keyword rich is critical. And one of the words that I just was amazed was home decor. My friend said to me as I was working on something, she said, you need to use the word home decor. I said, that's not a word I would ever use. It's just not a phrase that I would ever use. And she said, oh, I say that all the time. So then we went in and we did some searching. We did some Pinterest searches. We did Google searches. We did Google Trends. And sure enough, the phrase home decor was ranking higher than interior decorating, which is the phrase I would have used. So using those tools to really help you key in on what you're writing, because it doesn't matter that you get it done. It matters that people are reading it and sharing it. So keep that in mind. Done is not your goal here. Engagement is your goal.
And you have to be very, like what I've learned in the last 6 months with all the classes I've taken on all these social media things, there are vast differences between reels, carousels, hashtags, keywords. If you are a newer account and you're under several thousand followers, stay away from carousels. Always go to your reels and stories, because you're looking for quick engagement. That is all you are looking for at this point, because you want people to follow you. And if they have to click through a carousel, they're not going to do it, because you're not a person that is up in the higher rank. One of the other most important things is hashtags and keywords, because there's a vast difference between the two and they act differently, especially on Instagram. There's also a big thing on Instagram right now. Everyone's like, I want more followers. I want more followers. Well, guess what? Followers do not equal sales or customers. I know people that have 4, maybe 500 followers, and they're making $10,000 or more a month. I also know someone who has 50,000 followers. She has not sold one thing in 6 months. So that's a good testament to put the followers out of your brain.
Consistency thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
do think it's good to recognize where your weakness is. Like, I mean,
Yep.
honestly, that's why I have Katie.
Well, and so this is what I tell my new Instagram people. They're like, I'm going to post 3 times a day and I'm going to do 15 stories. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're a mom, you have 6 kids, and you have a 9-to-5 job. That's not going to happen. So you need to set really realistic goals for yourself, because if you start doing 5 reels a day, your audience is going to come to expect 5 reels a day. So my suggestion is always start with 1, do 2 stories a day, because those are easy. And then if you can do more, awesome. But all your audience is going to expect from you at that point is one reel and 2 stories.
Kind of thing.
You have to have a strategy. There's a big difference between a personal account, a business account. This is the program that I use. I use Trello. And so you can see on the very first column is all my ideas. The second column is what's going to be used. The third column is what's posted. And I put some details in there. So, and then
let's just talk about changing. Is it time to change or add a new service? JoAnne and I had a good time putting this together, because so much of this we have added, or we may have, life has taken it out of the mix. I really was focusing on virtual consultations over here. I put it there twice. Virtual color. Let's just talk about the key subjects and key services that we all are offering. You may not be offering all of these, but you might hit on one of these, or you might be so new and you're trying to figure out, what do I even want to do? Consultations are a great place to start. COVID changed everything. Let's just talk about that for 2 seconds. Those consultations that used to be so important for us to do face-to-face and touch the room, sit on the sofa, those kind of things. COVID really opened up this service for us. We had these virtual consultations. It was so important to have the tools to be able to do that. Our consultation kit, how to do these color consultations in the middle of it, virtual color consultations. In fact, Katie and I are doing one Friday. She's actually going to be in the space, and we're going to be FaceTiming and selecting the color. And that's where it's very important to know how to zero in and eliminate those colors that you're not even going to waste your time on, and how to do accurate color measuring. Talked about some of that, putting those consultations and offering ebooks, paint decks. JoAnne's just started offering that. JoAnne, tell them a little bit about about your paint decks that you're giving.
Well, basically, when I book a virtual color appointment, I send my clients, or a virtual design appointment, I send my clients a Sherwin-Williams paint deck in advance. Now, because I created the Confident Color class that Sandra and I both teach, I just call Sherwin-Williams and say, I need 50 color decks, and they're very cooperative. They would also be very cooperative to you. So reach out to your sales rep and say, I'd like 25 color decks, and they'll send them out to you very quickly. But I send them out to my customers. So we are not looking at the colors on the screen. We are looking at the real thing. The other thing that helps with that is I will have them measure in real time. So I might be looking at the sofa and it looks like whatever, a new gray. And but in reality, when she holds the deck up to it, I can see that it is not a new gray, that it's maybe 2 values down from that. So give them a tool that also adds value to your virtual consultation, which means you can charge more money and still be in your jammies from.
And it is something about having that client involvement. I think, love taking ownership and being a part of it. And then they're marking it on their color deck. I want to make sure you heard that. Reach out and find your rep. You just go to the site and look at your state.
Right. Give them the color test. For those of you that have taken our color class, give them a color test right online so you can narrow it down. Again, for those of you that have been around us for a while, you know that our color decks are taken apart, and we have it broke down into 5 different families, including the historical. So make it easy for them to feel like they're getting something from you, and always follow up with a report, a written report that can be emailed.
Okay, quick design, redesign, 1-day decorating. That reference has changed over the years, but we are an instant gratification society right now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I like before and after photos. I don't want to wait and I don't even want a part 2 on TikTok. I want the whole story right there. Even doing classes, JoAnne and I, like, bump our head against the wall when we realize it used to be try and make it 30 minutes to 45. Well, then we got down to 17, then it was 12. And now it's like 7 minutes. Our attention span, I'm like, we can't hardly say hello and goodbye in 7 minutes, but quick design is still incredibly popular, whatever you want to call it. And there's where looking at those trends, those Google trends, what's the buzzword for your area, even that can also play a part. Shopping, listen, making money with shopping, love it. I mean, my husband was so excited when I started this job because I got to go shop and spend other people's money. A lot of times you're going to have to go shop retail. So that retail is that percentage up from whatever you buy, plus you're paying for your time. If you have planned, or if you're in an area in Park City, I had to have large art. So I would stockpile or inventory some large pieces of art. Then I made more money because it was wholesale shopping. Even those seasonal, those decorating items for the seasons. In fact, Tammy Parrish is on here. One of the times we were at market, that was part of what we shot for. We went to our favorite showrooms. K&K was one, and we stockpiled or inventoried decor items that we could use for clients in those seasons. So that's some of the service. That's a simple service that you can add, but look at all those profit opportunities right there.
And let me, if I may, right here, oftentimes too, you need to be thinking with a different mindset and not yours. I think one of the biggest mistakes when I first started working, I had no money. I had little children. Part of the time I was a single mom. I was poor all the time. And so when I would add something up for a client, I'd think, oh my God, that's way too much money. And I would present the number to them almost apologetically often, or I would spend hours trying to find ways to save money. Your idea of budget and their idea of maybe two different things. Your idea of budget and their idea of budget may be two different things. And it could be the reverse. If you're used to just buying high end and you're working with a client that doesn't do that, make sure you don't get your own mindset muddying the water there. So you're not doing a good job for your client.
That is a good point, because if
Really
everything
good
starts
point.
with a consultation, you will know what the budget is, because part of that consultation, we have that comfort zone shopping. So there's no like, holy
Right.
moly, this lamp costs $500. In fact, I had one client, I always tell this story, as we were pretty much, I wasn't surprised at anything. I knew what her budget was until we got to the sheets. And that wasn't specifically a question in the consultation, but when I said things that, are super important to you, and she goes, I like good sheets. Now, my idea of good sheets and hers were very different. We spent over $600 on sheets, and the comforter came from Home Goods. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where, okay. So
Yeah, I remember shopping with a client who we needed some throw pillows, and I found the perfect throw pillow. But it was $700 for one pillow. And I said to her, oh my goodness, look at that pillow. That is just perfect. But the ticket prices, she said, if this is perfect, then that's fine. And she bought that $700 pillow. I wouldn't buy a $700 pillow if Jesus was coming to visit me. So, here you have to keep in mind again, your budget and their budget are two different things.
That's right.
that's right.
I did one where the lady said to me, she had all custom pillows, and she was like, everybody in the world should just treat themselves and do custom pillows one time. And I'm thinking, I change my pillows like every 2 months. That's not happening. But for her, it was really important that
Right,
she
right,
wanted her pillows custom made. And so
right.
that was a very different, I would never do that. But $1,000 a pillow, she was down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
cool.
Well, and that leads you to that full service design. When you have clients that are focused on elements like a pillow at that kind of price point, they're probably having you do more than just move their furniture around or
right.
give them that kind of seasonal change. So learning how to collaborate and knowing the questions to ask and bringing in an expert, I'm not an expert on a kitchen layout. I know more today than I did when I started, but having those resources to pull from, what kind of percentage of blackout do you need, and if the windows are facing this way or that way. But how nice it is for us to be able to have that collaboration, and we call in those experts. We are still there, and we still we're still charging. At the same time, having those relationships, if there's referrals, there's a thank you for bringing me to the party, I call it.
Yep.
And so take a minute and reach out and establish those relationships. But we have a friend, and if you don't ask for the referral or ask what your percentage is, you're not going to get anything. This is an industry standard that is expected. That wholesale, it's key in the full design service area, because you have time to order it. We don't have any of those big supply chain issues like we had during COVID. And COVID also changed how awesome the items that you could get from Amazon and Wayfair and some of the, I just ordered 3 outdoor rugs during Amazon days. I was like, that's better than my discount. And they came from showrooms that I have relationships with.
And if I can,
Mhm.
Sandra, you kind of hit on it, but all of these things that you're doing here, if you're buying from Amazon or somewhere and you can get a better price, you never resell it to your client for what you paid for it. There always has to be a handling charge. If you went to Home Goods and you bought them pillows for their house, it is that price of the pillows retail, if that's what you want to do, but there's a handling charge.
Correct.
Someone sat and wrote the order or whatever. Quit leaving money on the table for yourself.
Everything is time. Yep.
Yes,
Everything is
everything is
time.
time. Even though the client is also paying you for their time, there still has to be a handling charge, because you know, this is where those of you that have been in business for a long time say, but I'm not making money. One other point, if I can, real quickly, the collaboration, and again, Sandra hit on it. I last year, and just wrapping up one project, they were both projects were $100,000 projects. One was a complete kitchen remodel. Another one has been multiple rooms. And when I said to the company that we were doing all the cabinetry and everything from what is your commission status, they said, we've never done it before. And so we had a conversation and we agreed. And I'm the very first person. And they work with all kinds of builders and decorators, but nobody asked them the question before. And I made some nice extra money. My client was paying me for my time and my design expertise, but the people that I was buying the product from also paid me.
Opportunities to do it with the client, do it for the client, just do it just yourself. There you have floor plan opportunities, and we're going to show you some really good options for that. If you go, oh my gosh, I have to learn a new program, we have a solution coming up. And project management. I realized after building my own house, good gracious, the gal who was actually assigned to, you know, help make selection, she loved me. I loved her, but I mean, I made her life easier. And that was a quote from her. She goes, this is so easy. So don't underestimate those opportunities. Last but not least, staging. It can be simply staging, styling, virtual staging. Living in places that had second homeowners, sometimes I would never meet the homeowner. We'd do virtual consultations and have a plan that they signed off on. And then sometimes I could not actually be in the house. I do it from photos. So we have the virtual luxury. If you haven't added that, if you go, oh gosh, we don't have a ton of luxury in our area, it is still one of those certifications that really looks good and elevates you and what you're charging. And then look at other services. Now, JoAnne's going to talk about digital products.
So we're going to talk about digital products in two ways. First of all, to build awareness of who you are. And second of all, to provide another service that your customers will pay for. So a few years ago, you heard me say at the front end of this thing, we came up with the Oddmetropolitan magazine, and that was 15 years ago. We were the first people to do this flip decorating magazine that we did not only for our own business, but also for a number of you that were looking for ways to sign up. So last week I went to Canva and was going to do a newsletter. And then as I was looking at Canva's apps, I'm like, oh, well, they have a really cool flip app. So I went in, it's called Simple Booklet, and they had a free version. And so I went in and did a magazine in that free version. And then I also did a promo using just a few pages from that magazine. So if you are not doing a newsletter or a magazine or a booklet on a regular basis, like Sandra says, she only does once a month, that's okay. You're getting in front of people. So think about doing a magazine. I put a class out there last week on, for those of you that follow our real decorators and stagers, and we now call it the Pro Decorating Zone.
There's some good, better, best options for room layouts. These are adding on those services.
So this is a continuation of digital products that you can be selling. Digital products can be ebooks. They can be floor plans, as you can see here. You can be offering a design consultation, or you can do a floor plan, 5 great floor plans for the rectangular room. We all know there's 5 basic room shapes. You could be sending out some generic things. You can go to the next one, Sandra. Here is professional floor plans. If you're comfortable with doing architectural drawings, you can convert them into architectural drawings. Here's $399 that this person's charging right now on Etsy. Okay, next. Here's another opportunity if you want to do 3D type of, there's whatever your talents and strengths are, you can adapt them into a digital version so that you can make money without even leaving your house. Okay, Sandra. Color palettes. I have done color palettes online, whole house color palettes, some of them generic, some of them are custom. Here's an example of someone on Etsy that is selling a whole house color palette. And so when you put it up, you may say, these are Sherwin-Williams colors. I did books and mine have both the Sherwin-Williams and the Benjamin Moore versions of those colors. Plus, I also have a page that has 6 items that they might want to add to their room in that color plan. There was a rug, there was a piece of artwork. So I made money on the opportunity for my affiliate fee from Wayfair. And we should have put up one of my books. I never even thought of that. But think about these digital products. And again, if you're not using Canva, Canva can make you look real smart, or there's plenty of people that will do it for you. Here's another whole house color palette, $300. So this would be a custom packet that you would do for your clients. So it isn't that you're going to go in and buy theirs. We're just trying to give you inspiration of other ways to change for the season and use your talent in a fresh new way.
And also note the font. So the custom, which is to draw our attention, we've changed that font color, not me exactly, but the font it's changed. And so it's a great way to see the impact of using those 2 fonts together.
And you can upload that link. There's sites out there that are called What's That? I think it's whatsthatfont.com. You can upload a link and it'll tell you what the fonts are.
They're very good.
Another example, and notice this has the countertops, it has the cabinetry. So you could do a layout for a kitchen. You could pull in all the hardware. Whatever you can do in person, you can do on paper and make money without even having to brush your teeth.
Don't miss the opportunity to make profit. This is what this is. Listen, we love a hobby, but most of you on this today, and because we are in a boardroom trying to brainstorm, that's what I do love about this name, actually. How many great ideas came out of when we sat around a table at the ad agency throwing out ideas, and that's what we're going to do in these webinars. But it is about making money. So what is your money report? Whatever system that you use. Katie and I use QuickBooks. It's, again, once you start something, and I encourage you to start off doing it right, not just making notes on an Excel spreadsheet, because the goal is to get better and make more money. So you're going to need a system in place. But Katie, I'll let you talk for just a few minutes on Venmo, PayPal real quick.
Well, I think one of the better points that you were just coming to, Sandra, too, is this is just an extension of your business. So you want to be as professional as humanly possible in all aspects. And that comes right down to billing. You're not going to send them a text message and say, hey, send me a Venmo. So QuickBooks is really, I think we thought it was like maybe $20 or $30 a month. That's the one that's the most robust. It will track, it'll get into your bank account and track all that type of stuff, give you tax documents, all those things. Venmo, you can set up a Venmo business account and request money through that. And then they can pay directly on that through Venmo. PayPal is a little more similar to QuickBooks in the essence that it will give you an invoice. So there's different ways to do this. Venmo is obviously going to be your less expensive. There is a fee for PayPal, but it's probably a little less expensive too. And QuickBooks is going to be your top. If you're managing any products, QuickBooks. So if you're writing like an actual tangible book or giving out tangible things as well, QuickBooks will actually track your inventory in that too. So there are different options there. So it just kind of depends on where you're at in your business. Use a proper program so that you come across professionally. And also, if there's any questions about your invoices in the future, you can easily grab that and you can see what it is in there. You can give them refunds. You can tack onto it. There's so many options. And
Well,
I think,
I,
go ahead.
yeah, not to interrupt. I liked QuickBooks or whatever you use because I'd already prepared the invoice and go to their home. And then we spend another 2 hours doing something and I would just adjust it on the spot, then send it to them. And then
Yep.
I either am walking out with a check or we've got it resolved and I don't have to think about it again.
Right. And
Mhm.
I think one of the important things about some of those other things, the QuickBooks, PayPal, anything like that, is they'll send reminders. And I think it's very important in this business and several other businesses, but this one, you have completed the service. There is no 90, 60, 30 day. You're going to pay me because I've already done it. So if you're doing it in front of their face, like you're there and you can adjust the QuickBooks invoice, I spent another hour and send it to them right there via text or via email, they have it. So the expectation is that you will get paid either immediately or within 24 to 48 hours. I talk to so many people that have invoices sitting there for 30 plus days. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, we are not doctor's offices. We are not these things. We are not working with insurance companies. We have completed the work. We intend to get paid. That
Okay,
helps.
so the point of this profit potential is what is working for you and what is not working for you. If you've budgeted or your goal has been a certain amount and you are putting a lot of effort and energy and even marketing dollars into a service that is not working, then you need to relook at it. And it is okay to say, hey, tried it. That was a great research experience.
Mhm.
But don't, if the ship is sinking, let's just jump and go on to, that
Right.
lifeboat because you've got all these opportunities that we're putting in front of you. Okay, so as we were saying that we've all focused and we've taken these classes and you know what? I encourage you, if you have some free time, go sign up for something. Like I just signed up for a sketching class. I want to get better at sketching on the fly if I'm right with a client, even though we have, these other options in these programs. So JoAnne has become the funnel expert. JoAnne, tell us about funnels.
Well, again, one of the things that I want you to think in mind is we kind of say, hey, I'm an interior decorator, a home stager, or whatever terms you're using. And then we just sit there and wait for people to come to us. Start selling your services by using things like funnels. Now, the difference between a funnel and a website, there is no navigation bar at the top of a funnel as there is in a website, and you only promote one product. So this is a membership group that I will be launching very soon. And so if you go to that funnel page, all that I'm talking about there is my one funnel, and then you have your opportunity to buy. So think about using funnels in a way, whether it is for your lead magnet or for a service that you offer. Maybe you're going to do a special on color consultations in September, the month of color. You consider using funnels. And again, any of these things that we talk about, if you want a deeper dive into them, you let Sandra know, and then we can do that. Okay, next. Okay, lead magnets. Katie talked to you about the fact that those vanity metrics of the fact that I have 4,000 people following me or 50,000 don't really mean anything unless you have collected their email. Email addresses are the gold in what you want to do. So your website needs to have a lead magnet on it. And a lead magnet simply is, hey, I'll give you this if you give me your email. It's what we used to say, hey, sign up for our newsletter. Well, that's old and new. So this is one of my lead magnets that I have on one of my sites. And I swap out my lead magnets on the regular, and I pay attention to how many people are using them. And then I also will often align them with a Facebook ad.
And look how good
Well,
that looks. This is not just hey, I'm gonna give you Color Made Easy booklet. I mean, the way, and JoAnne, did you do this in Canva?
Yes, yes.
So make
I
it
laid the
look,
book out in Canva. Everything was done in Canva.
Well,
Looks
and
pretty
make
darn
it,
good, don't it?
it looks great, and make it be something that they'll talk to their friends about. And also, one way to think about this is Instagram in particular has a nasty little habit of killing your account, and they will not tell you why, and you will not get it back. But if you have 4,000 followers and every single one of them have downloaded your lead magnet, you have 4,000 emails that you can market to and send them to your new site, your new IG, your new Facebook, your new Pinterest, whatever you're doing. And so that is at your fingertips.
so don't forget your portfolio. And part of that know, like, and trust that we've talked about is people want to hear that other people liked you, or they valued what you had to offer them, or you did a great job, or I trusted her, she respected my budget, whatever it might be. I have to tell you, I can't thank House enough for making this available, because I would literally forget sometimes. And I would have a sticky note on my computer because I was invoicing, let's say, somebody, and we would say, oh gosh, we need to send them this opportunity to review, because it's fresh on their mind. And it's so important to do it instantly, because they're in love with you then and they don't mind writing it. So what's nice about it is when we were doing updates on the website, we're like, oh gosh, where are reviews? You can't always go and grab them from other places. And don't feel guilty. Go ahead.
And one thing I want to clarify, do not in capital letters pay House for professional account. Only get the free account. This is a free account. Do not buy House's professional account.
We want to thank you guys for being with us on in the first board